Alright. Hi again, this is another movie review, but this is a movie review of a movie that came out 30 years ago. And the movie is Wargames, which stars Matthew Broderick, which was actually his second movie, Danny Coleman, John Wood, and Ali Sheedy. And what the movie is about, Matthew Broderick plays a computer hacker who tries to get into a computer game company, but he unwittingly hacks into the military's computer in Norway and almost starts World War III. And this movie today is dated. It's dated pretty badly. But the movie still holds up. It's still an entertaining film. As a matter of fact, the term computer hacking came out of this movie because Matthew Broderick plays a high school student who likes to break into secured computers. Most notably his high school computer, because he has all this equipment in his house. And one of the inconsistencies is how this kid can have all this computer equipment without him having a job. As well, he gets outdated equipment, and that's what's announced in the audio commentary by the screenwriter. And the audio commentary track is very good in this movie by the two screenwriters and the director. Was named John Bonham. They bring up the fact that he uses outdated computer equipment. He said, if somebody throws out an old computer and updates it for a new one, they throw all the old ones out. So Matthew says, okay, have your old computer if you're not going to use it anymore. That's how he has all that equipment in his house, in his bedroom. And Ali Sheedy plays his, kind of like a love interest, but it's not really love interest for about 3/4 through the movie. But she plays a fellow student, and he does change her grade, which is what kids after this movie used to do, because they think, oh, it's a good idea, or a cool idea to hack into my school's computer and change my grades. Which is we're on a sequence from the movie because he didn't know that this stuff was actually going on. Meanwhile, what is going on, but on the down low, because at that time, 1983, when Wargames came out, there weren't all that many people in homes that had their own computers. And now, 30 years later, just about everybody has a computer in that house. And one of the inconsistencies that made the movie dated is all the equipment that Matthew Broderick's character has in his house. And he has, nowadays, every computer is built with a modem. Even the computer that I'm showing this video on, which is a laptop, has its own hook up to a modem and go online. So at that time, in 1983, there was no internet. There was no such thing as the internet in 1983. So when Matthew Broderick did was he would find everything was done over a phone line, not a cable line. And one of the interesting little facts that the screenwriters brought up was they were doing research to write the story. They said, they found out from the computer hacking friends that computers, like when Matthew Broderick tried hacking the school's computer, would be sent into his own environment, wouldn't be attached to, let's say, a phone to the outside world by a phone line. So I said, what if it was hooked up to a phone line? Could it be possible that to hook it up? Or a kid could hack in from outside line and change his grades. So yeah, it's possible, but it's not unlikely in today's environment, in the environment at that time. Well, now that every school has a computer that's hooked up to an outside line, either a cable line or a phone line. Nowadays, it's mostly a cable line now. So, like I said, after he changes his grade and now he sees his grade, he decides to hack into a computer game company and try and find their computer, and have his computer find their computer, which he thought he did, and then he realized it was a Norway's computer. And the subplot of the story of the movie was a possible nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union at that time. and which was a big fear in 1983. Now it's different. Now we have to worry about Iran or Syria attacking the United States. But at that time, the big fear was the United States having a nuclear war with Russia. So you have Wargames, and during the TV 83-84 TV season, ABC had a movie called The Day After, which is about a nuclear war between the United States and Russia. But in middle America, like Indiana, Kansas City or something, was attacked. The Russians dropped a couple of nuclear missiles on us, and we attacked. We actually attacked them first, and then Russia attacked us. And also in '83 was another movie called Red Dawn, so Patrick Swayze, which is the same thing with the Russians attacking or invading the United States. So this was like a third, the second movie in that trilogy that was on at that time. And so people were afraid, or Danny Coleman's character who ran the computer system said, look, the men in the military were afraid to turn the keys because they had morals and didn't want to kill 20 million people who want to turn the key to launch the missiles. So he took the men out of the loop and changed it to around electronic relays, which of course turns out to be a disaster because Matthew O'Reilly's character unknowingly hacks into their computer to play a game with a computer game company that was called Protovision. And he hacks into the system and almost starts World War III, which was, almost a disaster. It almost didn't happen in the film. But thankfully it never happened. Actually, of course, what happened at the end, it didn't happen. But the John Wood character was the guy who actually originally designed the computer system in Norway, along with Danny Coleman was his assistant. But Danny Coleman went up and said, let's run the whole thing on the computer. And the best character was Barry Corbin, who plays the general in the movie, who does not want to have the system in there. He wants to have the men in there. At least the men has more control. We have actually soldiers in there, not computers. And because almost at the end of the movie, when they found out, hey, that's it looks like they thought that they averted World War III, but it looks like it's going to go through it because the computer says, I'm going to launch the missiles anyway by finding the launch codes. And when they tell the general this, the general says to Danny Coleman's character, as a further consideration, I consider that your defense system sucks. He said just like that, and supposed to be a thing like Joint Chiefs of Staff or something, says your system sucks. And then the comment says to him, well, I'm going to take that from you, big eye sack of shit. I mean, that was my favorite sequence in the whole movie. My favorite line. And, that's how it happens. And actually, of course, the whole thing is averted. And John Wood helps, Matthew Broderick to saw the movie. At first, he was reluctant. And he was the guy that Matthew Broderick seeks out because he thought, hey, we're going to meet this guy, but I found out that he was dead. And then they found out that he wasn't dead, that he left because he knew too much. So he decided to play dead, so to speak, and go and collect his pension from the military. That's what he did. And then he says, the reason why he did that, design system, is so we could play nuclear war without killing ourselves. But the military didn't feel that way. They want to know how we could win a nuclear war. And they found out they can't. And the reason how they stopped the computer from launching the missiles was Matthew would play tic-tac-toe with the computer, and you'll find out how he figures that out. So let's play tic-tac-toe with the computer because no one can win tic-tac-toe because there's always a tie. So it always ends up playing a tie. So it says, you can't win that game. And then it says, let me play it on loop. So it could play itself. And it did, and then it fuses the tic-tac-toe loop with the loop for the nuclear war game. So the computer pretty much blows up and the game ends and with no winners. And the computer is talking to the John Wood character. And he says, can we play a weird game. The only winning move is not to play nuclear war. And that's a big message. You shouldn't play with nuclear war. And he says, "Oh, shall we play chess?" And that's how pretty much how the movie ended. But it's still a good movie. It still holds up, even though it's dated. And the reason why I like this movie is because this was Matthew Broderick before he became this big Broadway, star with all these Broadway musicals and stuff. And it's Ali Sheedy, and this was his second, actually his very second movie. Even though it came out the same year, the movie that came out first was the movie he did called Max Dugan Returns, which was actually technically his first movie because of release dates. That was his first movie, and Wargames was the second movie. And Ali Sheedy was in this before she became a member of the infamous Brat Pack. So it became, I still like watching this movie even though it is dated. Because it's the days before the internet age that we're in now. Because 30 years ago, there was no such thing as, well, I'm on this video now with YouTube, there was no such thing as YouTube. There was no such thing as, the internet or Facebook or any of the other stuff that we pretty much rely on every day. And I think part of it became because of Wargames. And the fun part of the movie was to see how things changed with computers in particular over 30 years. Because computer security improved because of Wargames. Because one thing that has happened, particularly at the time the movie came out, was that all these computer hackers started coming out of the woodwork. There was somebody hacked into the military's computer, and they mentioned that story on the audio commentary, which is very, very good. That is the 1998 DVD that I have. Even though I know that I think there was a 25th anniversary DVD that came out, but I know the audio commentary is the same on both, exactly the same on both DVDs. I have no idea. But this one, which is the 15th anniversary after the original release of Wargames, is very, very good. They told the story how they got the blame for this group called Detroit 112 was hacked into the Pentagon's computer. But what I don't remember that story, but I do remember there was a lot of kids who tried to hack into the school's computer to change their grade because they saw Matthew Broderick do that in Wargames. They figured, if they could do it, we could hack into our school's computers too. And that's what happened. A lot of kids decided to hack into the school's computers, change their grades, or to hack into other more secured computer systems. And because of Wargames, the computer securities got tighter. Now you have all these antivirus programs that at that time, and now too we have all these antivirus, all this internet security software that's out there now, which of course obviously you didn't have 3 years ago because there was no internet then. But now, like 12 or 15 years later, the internet came out, or was invented, and now you can go, instead of in Wargames. That's why kids today, if your kids see this movie, or people who are under 30 who wasn't born then when Wargames came out, won't understand it because actually there's no internet then. Nowadays, instead of Matthew Broderick trying to hack into a game a Polavision website, or hack into that computer, he can just go onto the Polavision website and possibly download a free sample of the new games they were making up or coming out with. And at that time, you didn't have that option. You either have to wait till when the computer games come out or go to local arcades. And you did have to get up off your chair, go to a local arcade, and play video games. Now you can play video games in your home. That's why everybody is so fat. Because now you can sit at home, you can sit in a chair, sit on a couch, or sit in the living room floor, and you play video games instead of going out, and playing outside, or actually walking down the local arcade and playing there. And it all came about because of the Wargames, because now everybody has their own little video game system in their house, or you can play games on your own personal little computers instead of actually going out. and that changed a lot because of Wargames. So it was an impactful film, despite being dated. Like I said, but it's a good movie. You should check it out. I'm sure I know there was a sequel that came out. You know, the update this movie. You know, for the 21st century, they updated this movie. But the movie does stand out. And for me anyway, it does stand out because it's kind of fun to remember the days when you didn't have the internet. And now you have the internet, websites, Facebook, YouTube, and you can see videos like this where people and me comes out and talks about movies or sports or TV shows and stuff like that, or these other internet reviews. And it's kind of a fun small group of people who like to talk about movies or shows and whatever. But what Wargames did start that trend. I like to think that Wargames started the internet, because look what you can do on the internet now. You can just go to different websites and you can download stuff, and you can download movies, you can download music, you can download video games, you can download all kinds of things that 3 years ago you couldn't even possibly even think of. Very few people in 1983 had computers in their house. I know I didn't have a computer until 15 years later. And I got interested in computers because of Wargames. Because I like to do, imagine trying to do this type of things Matthew Bradley did. I was 12 years old when the movie came out. I was like every 12 year old's web dream to go hack into your school's computer and change your grades so your parents wouldn't yell at you. I never had to worry about that because I got good grades in school. But it was always kind of fun to, watch Wargames now and then, and to hear that line, your defense system sucks, from General Behringer. It's always fun to hear that, line, because, to curse somebody out who designed the system. Well, please enjoy. I know I ran on a little bit of a rant and not really discussing the movie all that much in this video, but Wargames is definitely one of the better. Really, I don't want to give too much away for this movie. And if you do have this particular DVD version, not only watch the movie, but watch it with the commentary, because the commentary does give you a lot of insights on the movie. Well, thank you for watching. Check out Wargames. Thank you for watching.